learned to an election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down, we gon' get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your Watchlist coming into October 6, 2020, and the stock market is going to go up this week. Very bold prediction, but a lot of things happened. We were waiting for what was going to happen with Trump. By the time you guys are watching this video, you should see him leaving the hospital, or that was what they announced earlier today. However, we will see. We will see how it plays, but he may have bought the markets a little bit of time, and we saw some very, very interesting movements. You can see TLT up here, and, well, we have a lot to talk about, but it is going to be a lot, but it is also going to be a lot of waiting. So get ready. I said this on stream. There is a lot of things happening. It's hard to draw conclusions yet. We are really taking a wait and see approach here, but this next few weeks should be very interesting. However, this week we got some bullish signals, or again, the fact that we're right around the corner with earnings. This could be a real big catalyst, not to mention what just happened with the president. So I got the plays, I got the keys, everything else you need for tomorrow. So let us not delay. You guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description, and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free $99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/the-stock-market. You can post the plays, see the plays, watch the watch list come to life. And yes, if you want to talk about metaphorical swords, shields, boots, everything else, and it's not League of Legends, then hopefully we see you there. The code loves you. And the most important thing you need to do, post your watches below. Let us know what you're looking at. Got any plays, comments, remixes, anything, post them below and source that info. Shout out to Chad, baby. So right off the bat, first thing, like I said, Trump bought the market sometime. Like, we've discussed kind of the possible scenarios. A lot of people in the media are discussing what this could mean. He said some stuff in a tweet pretty much saying not to fear the virus. So this is talking about stuff that could have effects economically, socially, what that does to people. But pretty much all of this boils down to what I have been saying. Say a lot of things with all of this, but it's simply the situation is not over. It seems like it's going to take more time. So we will see. If he goes back to the hospital, that would be even the worst case scenario, and things will get really, really wild there. But he will be released by the time you guys watch this video. And like we said, that could be a really, really dark cloud. And the fact that that kind of got over it, he's giving a little extra boost that might help the market outweigh any of the stimulus or anything else that we've been watching over this last few weeks, or really could have been negative. So it was very, very interesting. Today was a wild day. It's going to have even more wild implications. So we got to keep watching that. It is a cloud, more or less, to say, but that was the main thing that happened today. There was ISM manufacturing numbers. However, that didn't really cause the markets to move much. There was talks of stimulus, but the market overall was fairly bullish to begin with for the most part. As the situation was explained throughout the day, it was very, very early in the day that we got the rumor, really within the first 2 hours of the market, that we heard that we were going to get an announcement from Trump, or that they were getting the helicopters ready and all that stuff. So the market was really, really carried on that. But the initial move from, how we opened, the market really wasn't too concerned. It opened at a range that put us back in the middle of that volatility, but you could kind of see that little extra effect. So that being said, now we are still waiting for the stimulus amongst other things. I will say the rest of this week should be dominated by stimulus talks, vaccine, virus talks, considering what happened with the president and this whole vaccine, everything going on. It's wild, but that should be the main focus this week unless anything else surprises. And then until we get into the next week, like I'm saying, wait and see. However, we still do have the minutes from Mr. Powell, and that can help us confirm now bond moves and give us a little extra info. And now that is the last point I'll talk about here with what we saw today, why I was showing you kind of that bullishness and where we're going and how we're looking. Why do I think the market might go up this week? We talked about this last week. We saw the leaps move, and even today, after this move, this was the first time in I think about almost 2 weeks that election uncertainty has actually declined. So we even saw that with some of the leap contracts we're holding. But if you guys aren't familiar, that's just the spread on the longer term contracts, specifically VIX contracts and futures. But we saw the leaps that shot up out of nowhere. They all of a sudden came back down. But this was the first time election uncertainty dropped. And you could even see chart-wise, it's just interesting. But this is what I want to bring up with bonds right here. This is TLT. TLT is the inverse of bonds. So this means bond yields are going up. We could go put up the dollar here. Clearly, the 100-day chart is a lot different. TLT is kind of like right here now. Bonds are moving kind of last in the middle of everything, but this move here is kind of confirming that the bond market might see a little bit weaker of a dollar. And pretty much anytime you see these big sell-offs with the bonds, it's usually followed by bullishness, especially in this kind of marketplace here, considering the reason why even we got that TLT play was for the reason bonds didn't make a move. I was expecting it to go both ways. However, in this way, it looks like it might be bullish. So wrong on that mini TLT play for now. It has a little bit of time, but now we want to see if we could profit on anything else in between. But that right there alone, with how bonds are moving, it's showing that the market agrees to a little bit more risk on coming into earnings. So that is what I'll be watching this week and even coming into next week, or could be the beginning of volatility, but you would have to see an immediate reversal with bonds because, again, the bonds don't move too much and we haven't seen them move. Otherwise, it is going to be all about these weekly developments and how we move forward from here. So I hope you're ready, but that is pretty much it. So let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, we made a few different plays today. A lot of credit spreads. Again, I did some bigger ones, but I actually did do buying of options, some weird plays. I mean, the first two purchases that I made today, or at least just overall purchases, not credit spreads, was SBUX and Levi's. We'll go over these funny stories with Levi, actually. But the one I want to look at will be Snapchat and REGN, either buy or premium sell for both of these. The real name of the game moving forward with everything has been watching the premiums and coming into earnings. That is going to be a key to watch. So those are the twos I want. And then McDonald's and DraftKings we did today. So those are the main plays that I'm looking for. Again, Snap Regen, more so for tomorrow. As far as the plays that we did today, I grabbed the Levi option. This one was funny. I grabbed two of these. I only put $60. November 20th, 18 calls. They went up. They're up 50% since Lending Tips gave a homeless guy water a few weeks ago outside. He hooked this dude up, and the guy didn't say thank you or anything. All he said was literally sell gold and silver and buy Levi's, I think. Or he said buy gold and silver. I don't even know, but he said buy Levi's. So this play, I don't really believe in it. They've went up a lot. It's completely ridiculous, but we will see. Retail has surprise, so I only put $60. Why not? Worth a shot. But the other play that I really like, they got an upgrade, or talks of an upgrade, I believe, but SBUX, and I brought this up over the last few weeks, so I'm kind of excited to get this, but I got the November 20th 105 calls. I grabbed 10 of these at 37 cents. So pretty much, if you really think about it, here's the option chart, or actually, let me go back to the daily. I've been talking about this one for a while here, but I got it at 37 cents in the morning, so I pretty much paid a little bit higher than about a week ago when I wanted it, and that was the price it was at the week before that. So it has more time than some of the other contracts, but clearly it's depreciated, so it's a little more expensive if you think about it. But in fact, we got some of that bond confirmation and earnings right around the corner, and it got an upgrade. I thought the premium was appropriate. I did pay kind of a slight premium, but I did try to not pay too much. So I got those, still holding those. I can't make them free just yet, but I'm still going to be liking that. I want to be able to hold that into earnings or make them free into earnings would be most ideal. But those were the first two plays that we made today. And then finally, as far as the credit spreads, I actually took profit on that CRM. We got $300 net profit realized, I believe, or $250. It was $250, but then the one that I opened this morning, I did a McDonald's credit spread for next week, the 16th. So we talked about this last week with a lot of the credit spreads that we've been doing. The weeklies have been very, very good if you're right, but I said we haven't had a need to use some of the time yet. So I just want to get a little time, give a buffer. I mean, we did play some good weeklies, but I think I could do those a little bit better towards middle or end of the week. But to set up at the beginning of the week, we still had a pretty good outcome, even though McDonald's even ended up high. So this was a call credit spread. What I did was I shorted the 235s and bought the 240s, got 53-cent credit, 10 of them, $530 credit. But this was interesting because I executed this right off of the morning. And now when we come to McDonald's, the key is it closed at a higher price than at the end of the day, but we made like a solid 20% or more on that contract. So this was taking advantage of the beginning of the week, Monday, and then that fast volatility. Again, there was a really, really big gap up in momentum this morning on certain stocks. So that was the first play. That is a new one. And then the second credit spread that we made was DraftKings. So now I was feeling a little bullish. I even did this after Trump announced that, I even said this. I said, wow, okay, I even said what I'm telling you now. It's going to buy the market a little bit of time. So I wanted to sell puts, but everything was up. So I wanted to take advantage of something that was down. And DraftKings was a very magical one because we own it in the long term. I like it. I could even give myself a lot of wiggle room to play with this. I like it. So I did take a bigger risk. It is a lot riskier. This is an $18,000 collateral trade. That's why the credit was so high. But just like the McDonald's play, the key, even with this DraftKings, there was really, really big keys because I even made 20% on this one. And we did this towards the end of the day. So to make $300 on that, I mean, you've seen some of these credit spreads. This is nice. But the key was that allowed us to get these gains. I was selling into the momentum. So like I said, I wanted to sell puts because I thought there would be bullishness in the market, but I wanted to sell puts on something that was down. So when we made this play, I didn't know Robinhood even tells us. You can see we got filled at 11:58. So then when we come to DraftKings over here, that's 2:58 Eastern time. That's right around here. The stock was down about 7%. So I imagine we sold our put credit spread here. It went up $1 very, very quickly. But the fact was we sold into the red. Same thing with the McDonald's in the morning. You come to the McDonald's trade. We got filled on that at 6:37 within 7 minutes of open. So now that puts us right here. Even the stock closed higher than that, but it was you could see it was going off of a bunch of green candles. It gapped up. There was more premium in there. So I was selling into the direction that the stock was going and taking advantage of that premium rather than selling something that was already down. So those are the first two credit spreads. Again, we've been doing this a lot. I want you guys to follow along, but 530 credit plus 1,300 here. These are the new ones that we opened, but then we also have this Boeing on the table from last week. I might need to average down. We're up on it a little bit. We'll see how it plays out. But then also this Qualcomm, I was up on it, but then Qualcomm started shooting up, but that's another 600 potential. So depending on how this week, next week comes out, we have premium on the table to take advantage of. So we could see how this plays out. Keep watching. Hopefully you guys are learning and paper trading along with me. But as far as everything else, I will be looking at snap calls tomorrow or sometime this week. I kind of want to see, just because I have those old ones, further out the monies are getting cheaper. I want to see how the leaps are. But now with kind of these expectations drawing down a little bit on the longer term contracts, maybe they release some other ones. We'll see how earnings is. But some longer dated contracts are getting cheaper. This could be an opportunity to get ready to start sniping. So I want to see, watch REGN. I like them a lot, especially with all this news. However, they're very, very expensive. So we got to keep a tentative eye on there and watch for it. But I will be watching them. As far as everything else, all of these companies, I believe we've all talked about them. These are the plays, again, still managing those Qualcomm and BAs for the credit spreads. Watch this SBUX. I really, really like that trade. I have been. AMD, we did this as the random play, but keep your eye on them alongside Intel because, again, you saw how that NVIDIA thing affected them, or I think it was last AMD affected them a little bit, or their last earnings. So we'll see, but they have another event. A lot of people are getting hyped up about that, so we'll watch that. And then even Penn, and why I decided to do DraftKings, I don't know if I got to mention this, but I did last week. This is how it looked after Penn did a secondary offering. So it's kind of interesting that DraftKings did it, and even the price I shorted the DraftKings put at is higher than what the 32 million shares offered was. So that's why the stock went down. But watch Penn National Gaming because it seems like now these stocks and how they've been playing out, they might move very, very similar, and it could kind of give you an idea of how the market might digest things. So watch them. Watch HD. I want to keep a look at them. I think they've been a little bit expensive, but as kind of an earnings winner, I want to get them, but I don't know if it's too early or late. Most likely too early. That's what I would say, but then if it's too expensive, I won't. But they've been capturing my eye. Again, putting this all in a perspective, I want to see some bullishness this week. All depends on the bonds and how everything develops from here on out. So watch TLT, watch the dollar, global developments. But if you start to see big swings in bonds, especially TLT coming down, that is very, very bullish. So I hope you're ready. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to get out the sword, baby. You've been taking the beating. You're in the corner. At least pick up the sword before you quit. But the code loves you. I love you. And we'll see you in the morning. Let's go.